Heyo everybody, Haku here with my live reaction or read through for Kubera Season 2, episodes 53, 54, 55, 56, and 57. I'm going to try to do 5 this week to finish out the Grudge segment of the story. I know the next segment is 13 chapters. Again, I haven't looked at titles or anything, just length. I know the next one's 13, the one after that is 10. I don't need to be super strict with cutting off at the exact end of one, but you know, since they are split like that, it's probably good to think about those as places to stop. So I'll do 5 this week, and then since the next one is 13, I'll probably split it into 4, 4, and 5. But it depends. If I ever read 4 of them and then I have it's only been 45 minutes of recording, then I will do the 5th, and then the other 2 parts will just be 4 chapters long. And then for the 10 chapter one, we can split it into 5 and 5. And then after that, we'll think about what happens after that. And also, last time I said it would be fun to do another character ranking at some point, and multiple of you said that chapter 100 is like a splitting point, like a really hard splitting point between 2 arcs or segments or whatever. So chapter 100 is a really good place to do another character ranking. So I'll try to do another character ranking stream when we get there. I don't know if I'll take a week off from the reactions to do that, or if I'll do the character ranking and the reaction that week. I don't know, because that's kind of still a bit away, but we'll see what happens. And I guess that's about it. The only other thing, last week I said that I finally used the Kubera generator to find out my birth attributes, being Chandra, Agni, Agni, and I asked what all of yours were, and after probably a dozen or so replies, it's crazy. I expected, triples are really hard to get, but I expected at least maybe more doubles than just myself. But everybody else had 3 different attributes, which that means you can use 3 different Bhavati magic, so that's good in and of itself. But yeah, it was surprising. After a dozen or so comments saying what theirs were, we didn't have any other doubles in our comment section here. So yeah, no other doubles, let alone getting a triple. You have to be very lucky, I guess. And even then, it's only a little less than a 1 in 100 chance. I think it's more close to 1 in 200 chance. But even then, those really aren't horrible odds for somebody to have been a triple. But yeah, we didn't have any in the comment section. So it seems like even a double, I don't think is that super rare. I mean, obviously it's rarer than just 3 single attributes, but still, I figured there'd be more. But it was so cool getting to see everybody's. That was really, really fun. So thank you for all of your comments last week. And also, yeah, like I said, comments on how to split things, just comments about everything. I'm just always really, really appreciative of fellow Kubera enjoyers. So thank you so much. And with that aside, let's get to reading. As always, I'll do the chapter and then I'll do the afterword for each one. We start off with the Woods of Chaos. And we have Elwyn and Marina. I wonder, what should I do? I'm sure they're the Shuras who attacked Atera. A man with one eye approached the priestess, right? What's that guy doing right now? I can't believe that guy was one of them. What should I do? Teo is in danger, but there's nothing I can do to help her. I don't see other Shuras since earlier. If that's the only one who's watching me, maybe I can try to sneak out. So I haven't seen any other Shura since earlier. I get what they're saying. He's been only looking at the sky, and doesn't seem to have any interest in me that much. Yaksha half? And then the startle. And is this the first time we're seeing one of Elwyn's eyes? I don't really remember seeing her eyes before. I respect my alliance tribe, even if it's a half. However, for a greater cause, I can put my personal conviction aside. So, do not do anything to make a situation where I'll have to use violence. Okay, so there's an alliance then between the Yaksha and Garuda tribes. Okay. What are you trying to do at Calibloom? Are you planning on attacking the city like you did to Atera? Is that why you're trying to hurt the priestess, so that you can break the closed space? Why would you want to do that? What goodwill will come by hurting the innocent citizens there? Ah, jeez, she talks too much. And Ryagara is back. We don't have any more things to ask her anyway. Shall I just kill her? If we let her go, she's going to tell the humans everything. But then, keeping an eye on her is bothersome for us, right? The Elven's shaking. I'll keep an eye on her. Just tell me what brings you here. It's interesting that his changed from white to red when it comes to his text. Or from red to white. Sorry, did that completely backwards. Well, it's simple. We're going to attack Calibloom, and we need your help, Marina. Then, Season 2, Chapter 53, Grudge Part 3. What were you thinking? If you're wounded that much, you should have asked her to heal you with a spell instead of putting on a band-aid. Thank God the time limit's not been passed yet, or else I wouldn't have even been able to heal you. Nag, nag, nag. Well, Asha, I don't think you know this, but usually this much of a scratch heals up only with a band-aid, so such a wound heals itself? That's amazing. Normally a pureblood wouldn't be able to heal such big wounds naturally. A band-aid might stop the bleeding, but a scar should still be left, no? My healing power was stronger than the other kids since I was a kid. But this time, the bleeding didn't even stop. Wouldn't that mean, by any chance, did I get a rare disease or something, like a heroine in a romance novel or something like that, you know? No, it's just that the bleeding started again because you peeled off the band-aid like an idiot. Is that it? I didn't know. It usually didn't take this long for this much of a wound to be healed. The Sword of Return nullifies regenerative powers of the enemies, of course, and of its owner as well. But the recovery power of nature remains for a pureblood human. So this is crazy to think about. Like, we know that Asha has kind of been maneuvering and scheming to have Lise pull the sword, presumably because she had faith that Lise could do it, because Lise is the human with the god's name and everything. But specifically, for whoever Asha wants to go after, I mean, she did say revenge on Marina for destroying Lisa's village, but also whatever's going on in Asha's own personal backstory, it's like this is the perfect weapon to kill a god with, or Ashura, but god specifically, since this keeps them from regenerating. And here, what I take from this is the recovery power of nature for a pureblood human. I think that means that even though Lise doesn't have, like, regeneration, she would still just heal over time like a normal... Like, basically, she heals like a normal human now. She doesn't get regeneration from the power of the name. But for a pureblood human, they get just natural healing. If you're Ashura or a god, regeneration's kind of all you got. I guess they don't just naturally heal over time. So this is like a real way to potentially not just kill them, but if they do get injured, the injuries can stay. So usually they don't need to be aware of this. Anyway, from here on out, I don't think that a band-aid will do for even a small wound, or else you'll end up being covered in scars. So yeah, normally humans will heal like a normal human, so they're not really going to notice the effect of losing the ability to regenerate, but since Lise is a human who regenerates, she would notice the difference. You mean I need to heal my wounds with healing magic every time I get hurt? It'll be bothersome for you, Asha. I have a great idea. If I learn healing magic, that'll do, right? Restoration magic's very difficult. So, although it's useful, most magicians can't use it properly. You're not even being able to comprehend Bhavati Kubera, which is relatively easy. So don't even think about learning restoration magic. Is that so? Then I'm sorry, Asha, but I guess I'll have to rely on you until I become able to use... No, hang on. I just remembered. Can we change back the conditions for the bet on the neutral bow? Although I can't use Bhavati Kubera yet, I can use a transcendental skill now. I can show you that skill called Perforating Hit or whatever right now. What? We have Ron's reaction. Really? Are you serious? Yep, I happened to use it once, and after that I kind of got the idea of how to use it. Shoot, that means I lost. Again, I love the single color chibis we get. Lise, the condition was changed because you wanted. Changing it once is enough. I can't just keep changing them so that it's favorable for you. Asha, just this once, please. I read the Bhavati Kubera book, and it says I need to learn more things, such as physics or whatever, in order to go on. I think it'll take too long for me to learn everything. University physics is not that difficult. Really? It's not? And then the look to the side from Ron. University physics is not difficult, but it's strange. If she changes the conditions back to use a transcendental skill, Lise will win without a doubt. Her not changing the condition, could it mean she's trying to make me win? Ron Sirafe, I'm just telling this beforehand, just in case you get this wrong. The reason I'm keeping the conditions is only because I want Lise to learn Bavati Kubera. That's all. Just the immediate. I love Asha's personality. I know that. Why would I get it wrong? By the way, Asha, when do you think Yuta will be back? I still have no idea why he became angry. Lise, Yuta's not angry, he's... And then we have the glare. Well, it's hard to explain. Let's just say that he's angry. Temple of Earth. And then, is this Claude now and Sierra down there? The Temple of Earth is much more comfortable than the Temple of... I think that should still be Temple of Chaos. Do you even remember that you're the Priest of Death? Lila said that she'll break your neck if you don't come back to the Temple of Death within a week. You would think, since Kubera is the god that Sierra uses the powers of to do the closed space and be the priest and everything, that Sierra would make sense as more of a trainer, more of a person to work with or learn under for Lise. But it seems like it's maybe going to be Teo? It's okay. She's only saying that. In fact, she only breaks my arms and legs. I can just use healing magic. The worried face. He's probably not going to listen, no matter how much you threaten him. So Sierra, just pretend that you know nothing and show him the God class items. He just won't listen. If you don't show him the items, he'll stay there for months. A priest candidate can take care of things for him for a short while, but this has been too long. At this rate, people will insist even more that he needs to be replaced. The problem is that it's what Claude wants as well. We should not let him find things to idle around. So, just show him the items and kick him out of there. He is the #1 magician of death magic, with no doubt. We need him back to maintain the closed space of death as soon as possible. And it's from Lila Himawati. Claude, are you really gonna leave right away if I show you the items? Huh? You're gonna show them to me? Of course I'll go back right after seeing them. But you can't touch them or anything. You can just take a look, that's it. Alright. Then, wait for a while. I need to turn off the security systems. It's a little complicated. Okay, I'm used to waiting. Thanks, priest. It was worth it to hang in. Well, I should finish the book I was reading. Huh? And then Yuta walks up. Oh, he's coughing up. Yuta, what? Why are you here alone? It's not like you changed your mind and decided to kill me, is it? You said you'd forgive me about Hoteyama if I told you about the development? I guess it's not that. Did something happen that you can't stay close to your group? Here, use this pen and paper. So how was it? It was just like what I said, right? I told you that the third stage impulse may appear little by little along with other symptoms, so you'd better stay away from a girl in such state. It was not like that. I saw her neck first. No, I saw only her neck and nothing else, so it is like what I was saying where the panel was focused on the neck. I just wanted to bite it. To be continued. Really, really good chapter. Kubera is such a good series. Okay, really great chapter once again. Absolutely loved it. Lila, of course, we already know from the AAA Magician flashback, the one with the hat and everything. I think that some of the names of some of these characters we've barely seen, or not really the names, I remember the names, but the ranks, the roles, some of that is still kind of confusing to me, and I think it would be way less confusing if I just kind of like read the wiki, but I really don't want spoilers, so I can't do that. I will say something I forgot to say in the intro though, is where I feel like I've done a good job while reading to really get like the story beats, the ideas behind the characters, the emotions. I feel like I've really done a good job at understanding that, remembering that, appreciating that. One thing that I've struggled with is the actual like, I don't know what to call it, like physical data, the actual like names of spells, names of cities and characters, things like that, even though it's like right there for me to read. I feel like for a long while I have struggled with it. The 8 tribes of Shura, different things like that. But I feel like lately, within the past couple of weeks, and maybe it was just the interestingness of looking up my attributes and everything, but I feel like over the past couple of weeks, it's really started to click with me. Kubera has really started to click with me in terms of like the spells, gods, shoulda, things like the actual physical goings on of the story, stuff like that I think has clicked with me more than ever, and I feel like I've got that down more than ever. Again, still not perfectly, but again, if I wanted to get it down perfectly, I'd have to go and, look back at old things and look back at the wiki a bunch, and if I do that a bunch, I'm probably going to end up getting spoiled. So, I just kind of have to be content with knowing what I know as I go along for right now. But either way, let's go read the afterword. Afterward this time we have some tired Asha and text not translated. Elwyn looking at Marna. Marna's always standing, but today's sitting down. Elwyn hadn't appeared since her abduction, so some of you thought that she'd been eaten. She's still alive. If it wasn't for Marna, she could have been eaten by other Shuras. And then we have Sierra reading Lila's letter. Claude's absence is troubling for many people, especially the person who sent that letter, but his ranking among death magicians is so overwhelming. To get him back to his temple, they have to coax him very carefully. Okay, well with that aside, let's go ahead and read the next chapter. Hey Asha, while waiting for Yuta to come back, can we go see that person called Teo Rakan? Teo Rakan? Yeah, I heard that she and I are alike, so... What? Says who? Alike in what way? In a way that you both have 2 eyes and a nose? What? Well, I heard that she and I have many things in common. Is it not true? Did I hear wrong? Gosh, Lizzie. Don't you remember the woman who came out to give a speech in the beginning of the test of the sword? I do. You'd even drew a picture of her. The lady with long hair who talks bluntly, right? Who's the priest of chaos and the president of the Fighters Union at the same time. So, what about her? That's Teo Rakan, and then the face change. How can you remember all those trivial things and to not know what's important? It's really hard to tell whether you're smart or stupid. Speak for yourself, says Asha, turning away. What? What about me? They're both kind of similar in that. I kind of like that. How Ron is kind of a goofball, but he's also kind of really emotionally intelligent and looking after the others. And he's still kind of oblivious to some other things. And at the same time, Lee's, like I talked about last week, being one thing I appreciate about her character is how she is how on the outside she's kind of just airheaded, but we see as readers, we get the viewpoint into her mind and what she's thinking, and she's really thinking about things on a way deeper level. She just outwardly is like, oh, well, whatever, I have to deal with it. So both of them have that aspect where it's like, are you smart or are you stupid? What about me? Excuse me, is Miss Lysias here? And some people show up. Someone wants to see you. And it's someone. That sure is someone. Grudge Part 4. My name is Zard Blaine. I've heard much of your reputation, Miss Ashirahiro. This seems to be my first time seeing you in person, though. Nice to meet you, Professor Zard Blaine. You teach martial arts at Calibloom University, right? And he was one of the finalists for the sword, right? I don't really get involved with fighters, so I never had any chance to meet you. By the way, what brings you to see Lise? I have a few things to tell her, along with questions I'd like to ask. First, we're going to hold an event for the new owner of the Sword of Return to introduce her to the fighters. It was supposed to be held on the test day, but was pushed back due to an accident on the very day. Since it's been determined that way, I think it would be better to hold it in the city square instead of the temple. In the city square? Is it unavoidable? I'm afraid so. The event has a long tradition, and there are so many people who are curious about who had drawn the sword. Why, is there a problem with Lise being introduced? Oh well, I do think there will be some people who would not be happy with the fact that the sword was drawn by such a little girl like her, but that's not the issue. I don't want her to be exposed to people, if possible. But I guess it can't be helped, so when exactly will the event be held? The date isn't set yet, since Teo left the city for personal issues for now. You must know this since you're Yuta sponsor, but there was a half who was kidnapped in front of Yuta on that day. As Yuta sponsor, I do feel responsible for the incident to a certain point as well, and I'm willing to pay for the search if you want. The expenses do not matter. The problem is that the kid who was kidnapped is Teo's foster daughter, and that's why Teo put everything else aside and went out with the fighters in order to find her daughter. So, why didn't you go with her? I need to supervise the practical exam for the break semester. Excuse me? It sounds that there's been some problems while I was away. Then, do you know what happened? Or do you happen to know what happened to that girl? When I entered the test center, a girl with blue hair attacked me saying that she wanted this bracelet. At first I thought she was a test supervisor, but something didn't feel right, so... A girl in blue hair. What girl? Oh, that's a really good scene. Now we're cutting away to Sagara. So, the humans are out, along with Gandharva. Yes, they do not seem to be headed in a certain direction, but seem to be just wandering around the forest. There are too many to see it as an ordinary patrol. At that, they all look like fighters or magicians. Saying that Gandharva's with them, I think we'd better approach them. Any possibility of Gandharva having turned his back on us and becoming humans' guide, says Huda. I love Huda's little chibi face. There were only dozens of them. Gandharva should know that it's not enough to deal with us unless he's an idiot. Well, that is true, I guess. They may be overestimating themselves, but who knows? Was there any little boy with black hair wearing a white cloak? I don't think there was such a kid. I'll have to go closer to be certain. Shall we approach them now, or should we wait for Ryagata to get back? Then, Far, how does it look over there? Nothing much either. Okay, so we're getting an actual box for Far. Far Hale, half age 88, participated in the test of the sword for the first time this year and went all the way up to the last stage, a rising star in the fighter union, fighter rank 11. So, Far, or Par, I think they said I should keep calling her Par even though they're going to change it to Far. There's no difference between P and F in Korean, so like either way, it's the same thing. Like there's no difference between P and F because I think... Yeah, Korean doesn't have an F sound, so they use P for F sounds, and Korean doesn't have a Z sound, so they use J for Z sounds. So Par Hale, I'll just stick with Par, I guess, is a rising star at the age of 88. Even though she's a half and it means she's only 22, it's like... Hello, I could, oh god, I hate slang, and saying slang is going to like date my video for people watching this years in the future, but I would hag max. Then should we go this way after all? No, you can't. Even if they took this path, it's most likely that they've already gotten out of the closed space of chaos. You cannot go there, Union Master. How about splitting into teams? There isn't much to do for the remaining group anyway. Wouldn't it be better if we all go together? The Master can go back to the city, the rest of us can go on. Yes, you should go back, Master. We'll go by ourselves, they're all going to get themselves killed here. But me being absent would be a great loss to our fighting strength. Maybe I should have insisted that we drag Zard or Clary with us, and they were the other two that were in the test, right? We'll be fine. Even if an Upani level Shura appears, our group's large enough to fight it. Meanwhile, they have, 5 Rakshasa and Sagara. So how does... I keep forgetting to ask this. If it's not spoilery to tell me, how does Sagara work? Because I thought you have to be one of the original 8 to be a Nastica. And then... all the descendants of the Nastica are Rakshasa, then Upani, and then I don't know what's lower than Upani. Is lower than Upani just the regular, animal ones that you see running around? And even Upani aren't, particularly humanoid or anything, but they're, bigger and stronger. But I guess that's how, the further you are bloodline-wise from the main Nastica, that's how it is. So... how does it work if a king dies and is replaced by a new king? Was Sagara born a Nastica somehow, just doesn't get her own tribe? Or was she born a Rakshasa and then somehow became a Nastica when Ananta died and she took over as king. Is that how it works? Like, I don't 100%. Like, if the Gnostica are the originals, I'm not really sure how any other Gnosticas can be there unless they weren't originally Gnosticas and then just became one when they became king. But even that, I mean, I guess it makes sense because we've seen that through the different stages and stuff that Shuras evolve. So it could be just like an evolution type thing. I have no clue. But yeah, if it's not spoilery to explain, let me know how that works. And I know like a half dozen of you will probably help me. So thank you. God, yeah, Par is very attractive. We'll keep searching around here. So you go back to the checkpoint or wait around here. It'd be the worst if you trip and cross the boundaries of the closed space or something. So, like, I think before Par, I would have said best girl, like top waifu would be Teo, but now Par's kind of up there. Unless I'm forgetting characters, I could be forgetting characters, I don't know. But yeah, just some thoughts. Then, Par, it's not like that. Other closed spaces are turned on only if the priest goes to their stones to activate them, but the closed space of chaos activates when I'm within the boundary. So even if I fall over, I just need to step back into the boundary. Okay, so this works differently. So the other closed spaces... So does that mean that the closed space of fire, for example, would be off unless... And like Shuras could sneak in unless Brilith, again, if Brilith worked normally. I guess maybe that's not a good example because of that. Because of the double closed space, it's really also not a great example to use Sierra, but I'll use Sierra instead. So would the closed space be down whenever Sierra's not literally touching the stone? And like anytime an attack happens and there's a lot of Shura, Sierra just has to go to the stone? Because, I don't know. I really kind of thought they all just kind of needed to be in the barrier of the closed space for it to work. Because if they literally have to go to the stone, then how does it stay up all day unless Brilith or Sierra would be like literally just sitting there with their hand on it? I get that Brilith is different, but if she was like a normal priestess. But then again, I guess now that Agni's summoning is different... Well, no, now Agni can just keep it up. But the brief period from when he was unsummoned to when he came back on his own, I guess she was just doing it like a normal priestess would. So I guess maybe that's what the priestess or the priest assistants are for, is the priest, like maybe Sierra just has an 8-hour shift where 8 hours a day he's sitting there with his hand on the rock, and then for the other 16 hours they're just rotating in and out the priest assistants. Then, what's more, this is about Elwyn, not anybody else. I understand how you feel, Teo. You can't just go back when you've lost family. You can keep going, and if it turns out to be clear that she's outside the closed space, you can think again then. I think what's happening here is Gandharva still wants to rescue Shakuntala, still wants to see if Shakuntala's alive. Sorry, hiccup. He still cares about that, but he was struggling because he sees a lot of himself in Teo. Teo is very similar to him, and he doesn't want to kill her. He wants to find a way that Shakuntala would be proud of, because let's say he was like, oh yeah, I murdered this lady so that I could come see you. Shakuntala might not be too happy with it. So in that sense, I think what's going on here, and the reason he's going out here with them, the way he's like, oh yeah, I get it, you can't just turn back, it's about family. I think his plan is he doesn't want to kill Teo, but at some point push has to come to shove, and it's going to be literally push and shove, because I think he's just going to push her out of the barrier and keep her out of the barrier so that they can invade, so that he can take it down without killing her. I think that is the strategy here for Gandharva. You can keep going, and if it turns out to be clear that she's outside the closed space, you can think again. So let's keep going for now, Teo. Elwyn must be waiting for you. Yeah, I straight up think he's planning to just push her out of the zone. I can't really help because my daughter's waiting for me. It's too rugged, the road I must take to meet her. I can't even get there by my own strength, so I have to borrow strength from others, but the process is too painful. And there's no guarantee that I can meet my daughter, even if I do all that. I've become so weak. Recently, I think, that I could die even before I meet her again. We're moving forward. What? Hold on, Master. Master, you can't. Hey, doesn't that man seem kind of suspicious? Yeah, I feel that way too. It seems like he's trying to make her walk out of the closed space or something. You think I'm just the people? I am just these faceless NPCs? That's me. He's just like me for real. It's like all of these other people could have their like self-insert or their character. They're like, oh, I relate to them so much. This guy right here, this guy is me. It seems like he's trying to make her walk out of the closed space or something. You think so too? Gosh, this seems frustrating. The master seems to have full trust in him, though. This is strange. She would normally not take a suspicious person around. Are the rumors true? Maybe she really is interested in that man, so... You over there. Cut the crap. Oops. No matter what, we're following the Union Master's orders. I love that panel. To be continued. God, I love Kubera. It's so good. It feels like so much happens every chapter. The chapters aren't even like crazy long like some other series, but even with shorter chapters, I just feel like so much happens. And in a good way, too. In a good way. It's not like chaotic, overdone, or whatever. So let's go and check out the afterword for this one. And at this rate, this video, we're looking to be over an hour here. We have Lise and Teo are alike. If you think about it, most of us would respond the same way that Ron did. Zard appeared in Season 2, Episode 38. He's a popular university professor. His height is 187 or 178 centimeters, which is 183 centimeters in shoes. Why the accent marks over the O? Everybody's tall, and Lise alone is short. Text isn't translated for Hura? No! What's the Hura info? Then we have Par was originally planned to be 77 years old, but a half-blood that age, appearance 19, shouldn't dress like that. Really? I mean, I feel like 19 isn't that young. But I didn't want her wearing too much, so I made her older. 88. Isn't that a nice solution? Also, like, we have seen Lise in various stages of undress. I'm pretty sure we've seen Lise actually, like, nude. But, yeah, maybe it isn't about the quote-unquote censorship of it all. Maybe it's more about the idea that she dresses kind of mature and that the vibes would be off. But even then, I think it works better to make her 88 rather than 77, because it's much better, if you're going to introduce halves, it's much better to introduce ones who have ages that are divisible by 4. That way you can easily, like, without much math, without thinking about the decimals, very, very easily be like, oh, that's what their age is. But, yeah, the reason will be revealed, properly revealed in the next episode. So let's go to that next episode. We start with Hura. Oh, they've started to move toward the boundaries of the closed space again. Ah, Pingara, did you hear anything up close? Then, guessing from their conversation, the blonde next to Kintarva's the priestess of chaos. And the half Riagara brought with her seems to be that priestess's family. Wow, and Kintarva being with her should mean... Now, it's pretty clear what he's planning, Sagara. It seems that Gandharva's chosen to bring her out of the closed space, rather than to kill her in person. Using the opportunity that Riagara had brought that priestess's family. How funny. And this is like a really good solution to the, oh, what's he going to do about killing her? Like, everything works out. Elwyn gets taken, and that gives the excuse for him to get her out of the closed space. But I really do think, like, she is one of the strongest humans that we know of. I feel like it's common here for these powerful Shura to underestimate the humans, but I feel like some humans, and we have some of these humans literally around here where they're trying to attack, are not really jokes. They're not like they're not people to underestimate that much. We've got Asha, we've got Claude. I don't know exactly how strong Sierra is. Did we ever learn his ranking? But Claude and Asha are crazy high ranked. Teo is like the highest ranked fighter, and I don't know if that translates at all into like magician ranking or anything. But Teo's also incredibly strong. So like we're talking about some of the strongest humans on the planet here. And I guess after the catastrophe, well, I always forget what it's called, even if they're consistent with what they call it, the upheaval. After that, they can't travel to other planets, but they could travel to other planets before that, right? So I was going to say there might be stronger people on other planets, but on Wilrarv, these are like, we have 3 of the strongest right here, possibly even 4 of the strongest. So it's not something to like really mess with when you've got 5 Rakshasa who are really strong. I guess 6 Rakshasa because Marina's there as well. And I mean, you do have 2 Gnostica. That's crazy powerful, but we know that the Gnostica have been nerfed. Maybe it's because of being in the human realm rather than the Shura realm. Maybe it's because of some other things that have happened with the Shura, but they have been nerfed. They're not full power. So we're dealing with, and you would assume that if the Gnostica aren't full power, then to me, I would think that even the Rakshasa aren't full power here like they would be in the Shura realm. So they're all nerfed going up against some of the strongest humans. And then he doesn't want to kill the priestess, so instead he's luring her outside the closed space. But he doesn't care if the other humans in the city die. What about the priestess who'll have to watch that sight? Will she just stand there watching the city collapse? No, of course not. And then we have her remembering the fight with Brilith. A priestess is someone who will never abandon a city just to stay safe all alone. Then she'll either die trying to protect the city, or even if she manages to survive, she wouldn't be able to live on properly. Yeah, that's why I said it's funny, because he's trying to spare her, but even taking her outside of the closed space wouldn't spare her. She would either still die anyway or suffer an extreme emotional distress. I knew Guntarva wouldn't be able to kill her right away, due to his current personality, but I thought he'd still kill her in the end. I didn't expect him to choose this kind of way. If he truly cared for the priestess, he should have turned his back on us completely, but he couldn't give up on his daughter. He's pretending to be nice and all, but he's no different from us. That was a really good speech and scene from Sagara's perspective. And a lot of these facial expressions here with Clophe and Sagara are great. Clophe is this one. No, Clophe is the other one. This one's Cloche, because Cloche, I'm sure it's like pronounced like Cloch or something, like not Cloche, is Belle in French, and she is like bell colored. Okay, that's how I'll remember it. She is Cloche. Clophe is the other one. Unless I'm wrong again. I'm correcting what I've said this entire time. I've called her Clophe like the entire time. And I'm correcting it to Cloche because I think I've been wrong the entire time. But if I was right, then I'm correcting myself incorrectly and I'm just entrenching me getting things wrong. So we have Grudge Part 5. The year D500 Shura realm, stronghold of the Ananta tribe. Manasvin, we cannot expect any help from other tribes after all. Our alliance, the Ashura tribe, is caught up dealing with the Yaksha and Garuda tribes, and the Kinara tribe is under internal trouble over the power of the name, so they're too busy. So, this is actually, maybe this is how it's explained, like what I was talking about before. Ananta dies, but maybe by taking on the power of the name, that's how the new king becomes Gnostica. Maybe, though of course everybody calls her Sagara to not be confusing by just calling her Ananta. Even though she's called Sagara, maybe she has the power of the name Ananta, in the similar way that everybody calls Lise, but she has the power of the name Kubera. That might be how it works, is the power of the name. And there's some sort of struggle between the power of the name when it comes to the Kinara family. And we know that the original Yaksha's dead, right? Because of the Yaksha's bones. So the original Yaksha has had to have been replaced by a new king as well. I was relieved when Taksaka, the second in command of the Vritra tribe, and also Taksaka, right? Didn't they say that Taksaka was the head? Which means the original Vritra had to have died and now Taksaka has taken over. Sometime between then and now. The second in command of the Vritra tribe came, which we didn't even expect, but that dragon's just watching the fight. Damn. So we're left with two options now, whether to give up Ananta or to go to rescue him, risking so many lives. Vaski is already left to rescue Ananta, so the fate of our tribe lies in your hands, Manasvin. Hang on, something strange. Ashura, Yaksha, Garda, Kinada, Vitra. There's one missing. Gandharva. What does the Gandharva tribe have to say? They're not in a hostile relationship with us, are they? That's true, like literally, because the Kali tribe, or what is it, Taraka tribe, they're kind of different. They're kind of their own thing as far as Shura go. So given that, all 7 of them are going crazy right now. They're not in a hostile relationship with us, are they? And this wasn't even around the upheaval. This is 500 years before, right? So they're even in chaos back then. Don't tell me that they refused to give any help to us. Well, year D500, planet Karte, stronghold of the Gandharva tribe. So their strongholds on the planet Karte. Hold on, what did it say before? I thought it said Shura realm. Okay, so the Ananta tribe, theirs is in the Shura realm, but the Gandharva tribes is on planet Karte, which might explain the connection where the passageway that we went through was all icy because it's connected to Karte, which is connected to the Gandharva tribe. We've got to help if it's a battle with the gods. Well, Makara, want to come with me? Gandharva before Shakuntala was born. You keep your position since you're the king. I'll take the others with me. Let's go. Let's go get some exercise. It's been a long time. And then, no. Forbid the tribe members from joining in the battle, Gandharva. The Ananta tribe is their target now, but no one knows which tribe will be next. Please do not have any unnecessary battles. We'd better not get involved here. And if the gods went after the Ananta tribe and that's what led Ananta to die, which is, again, something that we saw a little glimpse of from a flashback, is something that's really heavily affecting Sagara, that would explain why Sagara is so set against everybody else pretty much, kind of like angry at the world, angry at everybody else, is because, you know, their specific tribe was gone after by the gods, and the other tribes maybe mostly didn't step in to help them, which led to somebody that Sagara cares about being killed, which explains more of Sagara's demeanor. Please do not have any unnecessary battles. We'd better not get involved here. Menaka later becomes the mother of Shakuntala. She is pretty. Ah well, Menaka. It's good to avoid battles, but keeping the balance between tribes is also important. It's nice to see this too, because it feels like, with the exception of the couple children of Garuda and the henchmen who are with Sagara, we really haven't seen many just members of Shura tribes. Just regular members. Ah well, Menaka, it's good to avoid battles, but keeping the balance between the tribes is also important. If the Ananta tribe ends up being annihilated at this point, enough, Uravasi. Menaka is always right. No battles. Also, the fact that there are 12 important gods that your birth date or that the cycle of the calendar goes through in Kubera. I would assume that means there's 12 fifth Zen gods, and maybe the other gods are lesser Zens. They're third Zen or fourth Zen. Maybe that's the deal. But there are only 8 tribes of Shura that we know of, and 8 Gnostica. Were there potentially 12 and 12 before? An equal number of Gnostica and 5th Zen gods? But then 4 of the Gnostica and 4 of the tribes have been annihilated, and the Ananta could have been another that got annihilated? Enough, Urvasi. Menaka's always right. No battles. What? Kantarva, have you gone out of your mind? Why, there's no reason for us to help them, is there? We're not even in alliances. Hey, go tell them that I'm a king who loves peace. I fight only to protect Minaka. What? Peace? He's just gonna watch all this mess because he loves peace? Losing Ananta means a loss for the entire Shura realm. How can he not know this? I tried explaining more, but it was no use. He didn't seem to be listening to anything but what Minaka says. And then she laughs. We're doomed. Kantarva's become a fool, all because of Minaka. We should have killed that annoying bitch before she seduces him. Sagara says bitch a lot. Rather than speaking ill of Minaka, let's think of what we can do, Sagara. What the hell, Manasveen? Why are you so calm? Aren't you even angry about this? I am. Probably more mad than you, Sagara. I despise those hypocrites who pretend to be only good guys. All they care for is their surroundings. They're the real selfish ones after all. Manasveen. Being selfish itself is alright, because it's natural to take care for oneself and one's surroundings first. But the problem is with the ones who try to make them look virtuous for being so. You know what, Sagara? I hate those who celebrate with themselves after killing one Gnostica with everyone's help by every means, and to say that it was a victory of justice. And we see some of the gods. Is that potentially Kubera on the right? The one in the middle is lightning. I don't think we've been told lightning. Maybe we've seen a lightning spell. I don't know that much about Hindu mythology. My best guess would be Indra is lightning. My best guess is Indra is lightning. The one on the left could be Kali, because, I don't know, she just kind of reminds me of Teo. Teo's the priestess of Kali, but that's not really like a good excuse. Could be Varna, because Varna's water, right? And then, what was dark again? The one that makes you go invisible is dark, and that's the one that I have. I was what, Agni? Oh gosh, I'm not remembering here. Whatever one that is, I'm blanking on the name right now. It's on the tip of my brain, but I'm blanking on it. Chandra. That could be Chandra, could be Varna, could be Kali. The one on the right kind of looks like God Kubera, but there's the swirly stuff around, which could be wind. And I don't remember, is wind Vayu? I think wind might be Vayu. So maybe that's them, just trying to take some guesses. And I also hate those who close their eyes to the blood splattering outside, thinking that the world is peaceful as long as one's own world is safe. In contrary, Sagara, you're honest, and that makes you lovely. Now let's go. We need to protect Ananta. In case we fail to protect him, we will destroy the ones who caused Ananta's death till the very end. And we just have the insane battle between Shuddhas and gods going on. What should we do now, Sagara? Aim the transcendental skills for the place around the boundaries of the closed space and stand by. And the moment the priestess steps over the boundary, kill her by using transcendental skills. What? But Kantarva must have brought the priestess out here in order to keep her alive. Why should we need to consider something like that? All of this will end in vain if the priestess goes back into the closed space. We cannot help him pretend to be a good person by risking such a situation. The moment she gets out, kill her. To be continued. Man, the character work is insane in Kubera. Sagara is nuts. Like, Sagara is getting better and better. Every character is getting better and better. I am liking Cloche, if I'm not getting her name wrong. This flashback was insanely good, and I still get to read 2 more. So, this is going to be a long video. Editing is going to suck because I hate editing. But recording, extremely fun. Before we go to the next one, though, let's check out the afterword before I forget. Then Sagara with her hair down. Sagara looks 15 because this form is normally comfortable for her. But for the purpose of romance, she changes her appearance to age 20 because my webtoon's wholesome. Manasveen with a winged Ashura. The messenger has something like wings, but he is from the Ananta tribe. It's like Cloche who has wings. Sorry, I just got distracted. Like, given the fact that, it is a webtoon, and also the fact that it's kind of got a bit of a cartoony art style, Sagara doesn't look particularly different. Like, you can have Sagara at any seeming age and just say that she is 15 looking or 20 looking. Like, I really don't see a huge difference here. Like, I don't know, or a reason to change the appearance age, because again, you could just say she's like, if she was a human, she was 20. But the messenger has something like wings, but he's from the Ananta tribe. It's like Cloche, who has wings. Are you curious as to why he didn't appear in the other flashbacks, 51 and 55? It's because he died when he went with the others of his tribe to rescue Ananta. R.I.P. messenger guy. Text is not translated. And then Monosphene has body parts that he can't turn into human form, so he usually wears clothes that cover his entire body, including gloves and a mask. Needless to say, nobody would dare gossip about him, but he finds himself disagreeable. You can see, like, the sides of his face, like, to the sides of his eyes. There was, like, some sort of, like, scale type stuff. But, either way, let's get into reading the next one. Alright, starting chapter 56, or episode 56. I always call the episodes chapters. You have Par looking up? I knew that the stars cannot be seen at night because of the influence of chaos, but every time I see how the view of the sky differs from the inside and outside of the closed space, I really am amazed. Cheer up. Elwyn should be safe. I'm sure the kidnappers only took her to use as a hostage so that they can get out of the temple. So it's very likely that they've left her somewhere out here. What kind of fools would want to make their crimes worse, right? I hope so, but Elwyn knows well about this forest, and she's fast at moving. If she was left alone, she would already have returned to the city. If you're that worried, why don't you look for her outside yourself? Hey, that's enough. I guess you don't know much about this since you're new to the city, but the closed space of chaos is very important. Is there any problem with the closed space being turned off for a while? It's the closed space of Earth that blocks Shura's, and that of Chaos only distracts transcendental skills, right? And even if it breaks, I was thinking about that too. Even if they get her outside of the border and start trying to bombard the closed space, they still have the Earth closed space, right? And even if it breaks, she just needs to come back right away, right? I think it should be okay to go look for Elwyn for a while. That might be reasonable in normal circumstances, but it hasn't been that long since the Terra's been attacked. We've got to be cautious. Who knows? There might be... Sorry, I'm getting distracted. Par is very pretty. Who knows? There might be some Shuras who are waiting for a chance to break the closed space of Earth, right? Stop it, Par. He's lost his memory, so he may not realize how important the closed space is. Has your memory come back yet? No. Right. I hope it comes back to you soon. And then, Grudge Part 6. The other humans are researching outside the boundaries of the closed space, yet the priestess is still inside the closed space near the boundaries. Kantarva seems to be persuading her, but she's hesitating because she's a priestess. I kind of like how you see certain mistranslations, like they're researching outside of the boundaries instead of searching, or another like probing, maybe, like stuff like that. Outside of it, or like when the past couple chapters when they're like, they're not even an alliance of ours, or they're not an alliance instead of an ally of ours, or something like that. These slight mistakes are interesting because the translations are probably from somebody who is Korean but doesn't speak fluent English, because that's how a lot of Tower of God's translations in the past were. Because again, I can't like 100% confirm this, but it was definitely something that I heard and that people talked about, where when we got the Helltrain translations, the Helltrain translations for Tower of God were mostly done by college students who were learning English as part of like their work study learning English, translating Tower of God from Korean into English, which explains some of the kind of like weird English that you get here and there. And I would assume that, again, since this is line translating it for the official translation, it's probably similar, where they have people who are Korean, maybe they're students learning English, or, maybe they're just people who are Korean who speak English, they're just not like native or anything. So you get some of these like mistakes here and there where a word is kind of off, and you're like, a native speaker probably wouldn't have worded it this way. We're like, all of it's technically correct. You definitely understand the meaning. All of the meaning is there. It's just like a native speaker wouldn't have worded it this way. I find that really, really interesting to note. And that's also something that's happened with a lot of Japanese countries, a lot of Japanese companies where they've hired like even high school students to translate things from Japanese to English as part of like a work study kind of thing. But until when do we need to keep waiting? Gosh, this is boring. Then... Oh, before then, Gantarva seems to be persuading her, but she's hesitating because she's a priestess. I don't know if I had read that. Until when do we need to keep waiting? Gosh, this is boring. Right. How about killing the half in front of her? I think she'll come out right away to rescue her daughter. Well, I'm not sure if that half's still alive, though. I saw Adiagata throwing her among Upani-level Shura, saying that there was nothing more to get from her. Damn, then they must have digested her already. I kind of pity her for searching for her daughter who must have already been eaten. Just like Gantarva. Wait, just like Gantarva? Was Shakuntala eaten by someone? And then we have a look of shock. Did Cloche just slip up on something? Well, no. I mean, it's highly likely that Shakuntala is already dead as well. Oh, yeah? Now that I think about it, Cloche, you knew what happened to the Upanis when there was only blood left on the ground last time. That has nothing to do with this. Cloche, did you leave out the Gantarva tribe when we came here from Rindhalu as I ordered? What? Yes, we left them out for sure. Then, around how many Gantarva tribe Shuras were in this area from the beginning? This forest is not an appropriate area for the Gantarva tribe to live in because of its toxicity. I could say that there would hardly be any of them. Okay, good. Huda, Pingada, you two take care of the humans outside the closed space, quietly, and approach the priestess with me. Cloche, you and Clofe will have to go somewhere else. I'm changing the plan. Just a little. I wonder, was she saying that because she thought that Gantarva might try to use some of the members of his tribe to counter them and stop them from trying to kill Teo? Let me think a little more. And then Huda and Pingada are being sent. Okay. They're a bit late this time. Gosh, so distracted. I'm so distracted. I'm so down bad. No. Do you think they could have found something? Or could they have encountered Upani-level Shura? Then she reacts. Par? Stay still. There's something over there. Then a priestess wearing an armor and a sword. I didn't expect a priestess to be dressed up like that. This is why prejudice is no good. I should have known better. Who are you? Me? I don't think you would know, even if I told you. Yeah, because they might know, like, the tribe name, Ananta, but they wouldn't know, like, a member of the tribe. So, like, even if she was like, oh, I am Sagara, they wouldn't put two and two together that Sagara is the king of the Ananta tribe, right? And then Par, get out of here and find other teammates. What? Okay, I'll bring them here as soon as... No, return to the city straight away. Don't ask questions, just do as I say. I'll take care of these guys and return later. I can hear what you're saying. You have no idea who you're talking to, and who's going to take care of who? Gantarva's there still. What are you doing, Sagara? He speaks using Shura. I thought I was the one to take care of the priestess, not you. She smirks. Wow, Gantarva, speaking in Shura tongue. You still don't want her to know your identity when the situation's gotten this far? Answer the question. Oh, well, yes, it was your job to kill the priestess, but it was taking too long. When we were expecting it to take just a few days, we couldn't just sit and wait for you to get the job done. Then there the priestess comes out of the city, a chance to kill her. But Gantarva is just not killing her. Oh well, we'll just kill her and finish this then. Doesn't this make a perfect sense? What's the problem? Again, if he's fully loyal, then Sagara's playing him, because if he is fully loyal, then he wouldn't have a problem with it. We don't need to kill her, we just need to take her outside the closed space. Really? Explain why we have to go through such a complicated process just to let her live, and convince me. It's fine if you can't. I don't want to bother myself arguing with you anyway. Hey, priestess, do you know who that man really is? You want me to tell you? Stop it, Sagara. You'll be surprised. He's actually Gantarva. Oh, and somebody else says it. Is this going to be Marina? Or did she say it and she figured it out on her own? Because of the book. The king of the Gantarva tribe. He used to place the fifth amongst the Gnostica chosen by the gods, but later placed third after Ananta and Yaksha died. Okay, further confirmation. We already knew Yaksha died because of the bones. We already knew Ananta died because the new king is Sagara. But again, more further confirmation. Those two died, and they were both ranked ahead of him. He's very weakened compared to before, and he's looking for his daughter. He's borrowing others' strength, because he can't find his daughter on his own. But it seems that he's not happy with the process. Man, I love this for Teo too. How she was just able to put all of this together. Not just like the very physical he is Gantarva thing, but also the emotional state and the stuff that he's going through with his daughter. He has no conviction of his own actions, nor any guarantee of finding his daughter, so he's suffering in pain. Am I wrong? And she's surprised. If you have nothing more to say, let's get started, since I don't like chit-chat. Hoti Kubera. Since when? And she only gets one Hoti Kubera, right? Because she's, triple Kali. Since when? At the Lake of Reflection. I saw your Shura form. Why did Gnostica approach me? Is he really a Gnostica? If he's trying to kill me, why is he taking so much time? I decided to pretend that I hadn't seen anything until I was sure of the answers. Then the way you acted toward me, it was all... No, I've always been sincere toward you. Although I knew you were a Gnostica and had a daughter, it seemed like you were here to kill me. None of them mattered to me. But Gantarva, I still don't know how you truly feel. Please, do not struggle between choices anymore, and decide where to stand. I do not wish to survive when my city's collapsed. And man, that face as well. Just being like, hey, you're gonna have to kill me here. You didn't want to kill me, you just wanted to have my city be taken out, but I don't want to survive like that. So it's basically like, you gotta kill me, Gantarva. Another really, really great chapter. Teo's character, already one of my favorites, continues to skyrocket even further to greater heights. Gantarva, incredible character, continuing to get even better. And then Sagara over these past two chapters has just been so good. So yeah, incredible. Absolutely incredible set of chapters. Kubera is just kind of unbeatably good. Like, Kubera is so good. Either way though, let's read the afterword really quick. Afterword this week says, text not translated, when you see Sagara's crew lined up like that, Pingata is really big, and Huda is not so small really. Clofe, third stage Rakshasa, has no dialogue. It's hard to notice whether or not he's in certain scenes, so we're reminded that he exists in scenes like this. Then we have Teo casting Hoti Kubera. I think I mentioned it in the volumes, the printed books Korean only, that anyone with triple nil attributes will have a magic failure rate of 50%. So in that situation, so she only gets one use of the other magics, and those one uses are a 50% failure. That's crazy. So in that situation where Teo said Hoti Kubera, she could have failed at casting it. That's crazy. So like triple nil is kind of really bad, right? Because we don't know what, if any, actual magic you can use from that. Unless you have some sort of anti-magic abilities, in which case you're trading off losing a lot of variety for being really, really, really good at this one specific thing, which could be extremely helpful if that's how it works. So yeah, extremely good chapter. Once again, all of this and talking about like Clofay showing up, kind of, it just makes me think, I have so much Kubera brain rot, and I've thought about this before. You know how I've done the Tower of God screen time video where I've done chapter 500 characters screen time. I did chapter 200 character screen time, or chapters 500, chapter 600. I kind of want to do that for Kubera. I am so Kubera brain rotted that I kind of want to do like chapter 100 screen time and then chapter 200 screen time, or like, I don't know. I kind of want to do screen time notes for Kubera. There's so many Kubera projects that I can think of too that I want to do that I can't do until I catch up more. But like, man, I am so hooked. I am so hooked. Either way though, we got one more chapter to read. Let's go on to 57. Finishing out the video with chapter 57 or episode 57. And the afterword, I didn't look at any of it, but it looked really long. So I'm like, oh God, what happens this week? It is also the end of a section, so that probably also kind of means a lot. Are you really going to attack Calibloom? You said earlier that you respect your allied tribes, even if they're halves. And a lot of halves in Calibloom, or there are a lot of halves in Calibloom, and many of them are Yaksha halves like me. And even a Garuda halves like you. If you attack the city, they'll all die. Have you already forgotten what I said earlier? If it's for the greater cause, I can put my personal conviction aside. We're doomed. I'm sorry, Teo, there's nothing I can do. He turns back away. If stars begin to be seen after the sky turns black, that's the sign of the closed space of chaos being broken. Stand by near the city, and when you begin to see the stars, use transcendental skills to break the closed space of Earth. We planned to destroy it without you at first, but since Gandharva's not doing his job and wasting time, we'd like you to help us. Think of it as making up for what Gandharva's failed to do. Gandharva, you should have done a better job when you were so confident that you chose not to take me with you. Season 2, Chapter 57, Grudge Part 7. We're seeing the closed space. And then Teo and Gandharva with them right there. So I guess the tail is the part that Pingada can't transform. So I wonder, does Pingada have just the tail or the tail and legs? The priestess is being like this. We'll have to carry out the rest of our plan after killing her. For now, you go and get the Yaksha half Hura. So Hura is the part that they can't transform their claws, or do we just not see it yet? She already ran away, quietly, quite quickly. And then, why'd you let her run away? Well, I wasn't sure if I was supposed to catch her. And you didn't give any orders. So, Yaksha half then. I keep getting Yaksha and Kinada confused. Because let's see. There are 8 tribes. One of them is kind of weird because it's chaos. So that leaves 7. Of those 7, the Gandharva tribe are like fish. They might not just be fish, but like any kind of sea creature, but from what we saw so far, they look like fish to me. So they're sea creatures, and then we have sky creatures for the Garuda clan. They're birds, or like bird-like creatures. Vritra is what Taksaka is, and what Cossack is by, proxy, by being their child. So Cossack is a dragon, so Vritra are dragons. So we have sea, sky, dragons. Then as far as like being on the ground or whatever, we have insects like Huda. Huda is Ashura they mentioned. Then Ananta we've dealt with a lot of. Ananta are like snakes or serpents. Again, they might be any kind of reptile. Like we got fish, we got birds, they might be reptiles. So I don't know if you could have like a turtle or a lizard or something. But we know at least snakes. then, and even winged snakes, still snakes. So, you know, what is a lizard but a legged snake? Then that leaves Kinara and Yaksha. I get confused because they're both mammals. But I think the difference is, I thought Yaksha was the one that Shess is, but I guess Kinara is the one that Shess is. And Yaksha is the one that Shuri, who raised Yuta, is. So Shuri was a fox, and I thought, Par's totally a cat. So like carnivorous animals, maybe? Like carnivorous mammals, I guess. And then Shess is like a goat or a sheep or something. So then Kinara are like herbivores, maybe? Maybe that's the difference. It's like carnivores and herbivores. So why'd you let her run away? Well, I wasn't sure if I was supposed to catch her. And you didn't give any orders. You idiot. Go get her. Yup. And I love Hura. Par will be by herself to evade one, Par will be able to evade one by herself. No, she must. Then Pingara steps in the way to protect Sagara. We have the stab happening there. And at first it looked like, because of the hilt of the sword, that he just had like a wiggly noodly arm and he was grabbing onto the sword with it. But actually I think that the like chunk of body is being torn apart by the stab. I knew they're not halves, but... Okay, and they can just regenerate. 15 years of being a priestess, and I'm in real trouble now. I wonder if I'll return alive. We have the fight going on. Sagara's still just standing there. What the hell? She's not even using her sword. She's using her sword so fast that it should not even be possible for a human. She's very skilled for sure, but that sword, does it not seem to be an ordinary item? Is it a god-level item that I don't know of? Pingara, use your transcendental skills. You cannot use it as long as it's not an attacking type, right? Or you can use it as long as it's not an attacking type, right? Gosh, I keep mixing up lines. Like vertically. Yes, ma'am. Is that a defensive skill, using electricity? That doesn't even tickle me. So he can use electricity. Transcendental resistance, silent magic. A type of chaos attribute, silent magic. It lessens damage received by magic and transcendental skills. For a single, it's 30%, for double 60%, and for triple 99%. So again, here's where we see you can only use one of every other type of magic, and there's a 50% chance of it to fail, which is a terrible downside, but your great upside is that you get 99% resistance to magic and transcendental skills. That's chaos attribute. No, it can't be. She may be the priestess of chaos, but I'm sure all kinds of chaos attribute magic disappeared along with Kali. Then, Pingara, you can't do any damage on that human with transcendental skills. Hide yourself and attack. And this is, again, they can plan and strategize by speaking in Shura. And again, his body's torn apart. I saw so many of those who use cloaking during the upheaval. Although we're inside of the closed space, she can still use transcendental skills as long as it's used with items. What's more, she even remembers the upheaval. She's very experienced. Sagara, this human's truly strong. We cannot defeat her in this state. I need to either take Shura form or call the other guys. I didn't expect we would need to take Shura form for taking care of one priestess. If you take Shura form now, it would cause a problem to our plan. You do not need to take Shura form. And Ryagara shows up, probably with Elwyn. Or maybe not, because Elwyn was still with Marina. And kicks over tail. Sorry I'm late. I've been persuading Marina. Cloche told me about the new plan on the way here. Okay, well, it's fine now that you're here. Kill that bitch before she acts up more. Damn. Is Gantarva still thinking? And he's conflicted. Perhaps I made a dangerous bet. They both go in to attack. And we see a huge slash taken off of Ryagara. A Gnostica choosing to side with a human. What a fairy tale. And then she gets overpowered by Ryagara, who starts hitting her and prevents her from reaching the sword. I got too excited over his kindness for a while. Keeping yourself clean is better, don't you think? There's no need to be flashy, but being neat would be nicer. Oh, what a worthless fairy tale I dreamed. This seems like it's building up. He yells stop. This feels like it's building up to Gandharva having the face turn. Then Ryagara and Pingara react. Ah, I'm glad. It wasn't worthless after all. And we have the sword stab through her neck? You can't just stop, because Gandharva tells you to, okay? Thanks to you, I had to do this myself. And Sagara did it, so we could have Teo getting taken out. And then we have him yelling in grief. And we see the stars. Chapter 20, Grudge. And next chapter, Frozen Tears. Frozen Tears, again, we know ice and crying is going to be related to Gandharva. What an incredible, arc we had here. And it's brutal because Sagara is such a piece of shit. Sagara is such a piece of shit, but we see, her grudge. We see how she got like this. And now Gandharva can blame himself even more because he sat the fence, much like what happened with the Ananta tribe being attacked and Ananta being killed. He sat the fence again. He could have, just said, oh, well, I have to kill her, and sided with the other shoulda. And he could have sided with her to protect her and stop her from being killed. But instead, he sat the fence again. And he came in too late. So this is just nuts, because how much more is that going to affect his character? What's going to happen with Elwyn now? What's going to happen with the entire city now that, again, they still have a lot of fighters on their side. They still have Asha, they still have Claude, they still have Sierra. But what do they do with that? Now with just Teo being taken out and the closed space being taken down, things have changed so much. Unless Gandharva fully flips sides, but now it's now why fully flip sides? You already messed up. She's already dead. Presumably, unless she survives this somehow. I don't know. I guess in Kubera that might be possible. I don't know. But yeah, an incredible, incredible set of chapters. Let's go read the afterword for this one. Starting off, the thumbnail's eye-catching, Marna and Elwyn. When Cloche said she saw Elwyn being abandoned among some Upani-level Shuras, it was before she ended up with Marna. That happened in Season 2, Episode 53. Ryagara threw her away as Upani food. Cloche watched, but passed on by. Once she was gone, Marna picked Elwyn up, and watched her so she wouldn't run away. Ryagara later returned to convince Marna to break the closed space of Earth. Marna was convinced, the present. Then, confrontation between Sagara's group and Teo. Rather than Hoti Kubera, wouldn't it have been better for Teo to use Hoti Asfin's Hoti Kubera, like Airi did in episode 74? Actually, Teo can't use Hoti Asfin's. She had to take Gandharva to get his injuries treated early in season 2. And then Pingara regenerating. Pingara's hair is usually covered by their cloak, so some of you thought they had short hair. I did. They actually have long hair. That purple mist is just them regenerating. Regeneration styles are different for each Shura. Okay, and that's all we get. The rest isn't translated. Incredible, incredible segment of Kubera, which is an incredible story. So either way, that's where we're ending for this week. Next week I'll do at least 4 more, maybe 5. Again, we'll see how quickly I can get through 4. But either way, this is going to end up being a pretty long video, so I gotta go get to editing. Thank you for watching. If you did like the video, comment down there to tell me what you thought of this week's set of chapters, my thoughts and reaction to them. Subscribe for more Kubera, much more on the channel. Follow on Twitter if you want. If you want a link to the Discord server, it's free and open for anyone. And if you want to help support the channel by dropping a super thanks, it's very much appreciated. If you want to not only support the channel, help me to keep making videos, but also get One Piece videos early, get your name at the end of videos, then hit join down below to become a member, or go to patreon.com/Haku of the Tubes, or a link will be in the description to become a patron. Thank you so much to people who are already patrons and members. Thank you to Chosen Regular Evan Hawley, Magical Girls, FR Nono, Abyss Knight, JA, and The D-Ban, Cheriton Students, David Langstaff and Folded Ghoul, Slayer Candidates, SG and Stan Cedar, and Pure Element, Pate Owl. Thank you so much for all of your support. Thank you so much for watching, for being here. Thank you, and I'll see you all next time.